Hi everyone, today we're going to learn how to make different pictures using different noodles. So I've selected a penne noodle and a spaghetti noodle as well as a macaroni noodle, and we're going to color these and make them into art. So what we'll need is some noodles. They can be the same shape or they can be different shapes. You'll need one pair of scissors. You can either use a paintbrush or your fingertips, and you need 2 pieces of paper and white glue or clear glue, as well as some paint colors. Whatever colors you have, I'm going to use yellow, green, orange, blue, and purple. All right, let's get started. All right, so first, as you can see, I have a few different types of pasta here that I'm going to be using for our artwork, and I'm going to separate a little bit of each into a plastic bag, and this is how we're going to mix the colors. So this I'm going to use as the petals for my sunflower. So I'm going to open up our bag here and take some yellow paint, and I'm going to pour some in here. And next I'm going to zip the bag up. And this is kind of fun, so I can use my hands, and I'm going to mush it all around and make sure that all of the noodles get some color onto it. Just like this. You can use both hands. And I'm just going to make sure that going to try to look around here to see if each one is covered. Once I think this bag is covered, I'll leave it here. And now I'm going to divide some sections into other bags. So this one I'll be using little macaroni. This is going to be for our fish. So I'm going to separate the colors just so we can make it look very colorful. I'm going to put about 2 handfuls in for each color. For this one, I'm going to go with some purple. Oops. And I can use a paintbrush to help if there's no squeezy top. And I'll just take a big amount there, dip it in. And now I'm going to do the same thing again, shut the bag, and try to get all of the noodles covered in the paint color. Just like that. Next I'm going to use blue. So I'm going to do the same thing, about 2 handfuls. And I'm going to take blue this time, pour some blue inside, shut our baggie, and mix that around. It turns out a little bit better when you use a darker paint color, but whatever paint color you have should be fine. This one mixed very nicely. Like that. Next, for our leaves of our sunflower, I'm going to use these long spaghetti pieces of pasta, but since they don't quite fit in the bag, I'm going to cut them so that they can fit. I'm just going to snip them off just here. Put them into our bag, and I'm going to use green. Now I'm going to put our green on here and do the same. This one might be a little bit harder because the noodles don't move around too much, so I might have to add a little bit towards the bottom. So I'll do that again, just to make sure I get the bottom part. And there we go. Excellent. And I'll close this bag. And for the last bit for our fish, I'm going to take another 2 handfuls here. And this time I'm going to add orange. So I'm going to use my second paintbrush and pour in as much as I can so that all of these get covered. Just like that. And again for our last bag, I'm going to do the same. Mix as much as I can. Spread the paint around. And now we're done with our mixing. So I've laid out a sheet of wax paper, and this is where we're going to put the noodles to dry with our paint. So I'm going to open the bag and I'm going to dump all the pasta out and separating them by color so they don't get mixed. If you leave them in the bag too long, they will harden with the paint. So this is why we're going to let them sit outside, and I'm going to just spread them out a bit. Perfect. And I'll go color by color. So we'll do our blue next. Pushing all of them down to the bottom. This color turned out really well. And I got a few stragglers. There you go. Perfect. Next, I'm going to use this little skewer here just to make sure that they are separated, or else they will stick together. You can use any kitchen utensil, like a fork or a knife, anything that you have at home. And I'm just going to try to separate them. Some of them have dried quite quickly, so make sure to do this right after you take them out. Here, these are all dry. This I can move around, separate. You might be able to break some apart after they dry, but this is just to help us declump as many as we can. Oops. There's just a couple here. There you go. Excellent. And now we're going to leave them here to dry. So I've taken off our noodles from the wax paper and now they're all dry. Many of them were very easy to break apart and they all turned out really well with the color. So now I have one piece of paper, and then again I have my spaghetti branch, which will be the root for the sunflower. So first I'm going to position approximately what I'm just going to make. So I'm going to practice putting the noodles around just like sunflower leaves, but we're actually going to start with the middle. So the middle of the sunflower, I'm going to use the color black, and I'm just going to dab a tiny bit onto my page like that. And with a paintbrush or with your finger, I'm just going to make it into a circle, and then this will make it easier for the noodles to go around. So here's my circle. There you go. And next I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to start gluing the noodles down. So I'm going to take the glue and I'm going to go all across this long piece here. Flip it around. And I'm going to stick it down just in the center so I have plenty of room around for the leaves. And next I'm going to glue each noodle on one side. And I'm going to place them around the black circle. Doesn't have to be too much glue, just on one side should be enough. And I'm going to give them a little space around each other, just a little break in the flour. And I'm pressing down on each one just for a second or two to make sure that it sticks into the page. And I'm just following around in a circular motion around that black center circle. And I have just one left. And there we have created our very own sunflower made of noodles. For our fish design, as you can see, I've just traced a basic outline of a fish. Feel free to trace any that you see online or go after any type of fish that you want to create. I'm going to use my scissors now and just cut along the edges of my pencil where I've drawn my fish. And I'm just trying to stay on the lines that I've drawn as much as I can. Now that I've got my fish, I'm going to use the noodles that have dried overnight. So here I have some orange. There I have some purple. And I also have some blue.